Does science leave room for religion? Nowadays that is a very pressing question. It has become a very pressing question. So I discussed it in at least 2 of my books, The Destiny of the Universe and It's All in the Genes, really. You can find them at Amazon.com or wheredowecomefrom.com. There would be no room for religion if science covers all there is, and so many people think that science does cover all there is. There would also be no room for religion if there is only matter in this universe. Everything is made of stuff. And there would be no room for religion if science can explain religion away. And science has tried to do that. So to the people who say that science covers all there is, I would say that view has become very prevalent nowadays, and it's usually called scientism. It is the view that the methods of the natural sciences are the only source of genuine factual knowledge, and they alone can yield true knowledge about man and society. Scientism worships at the altar of science. It's our new idol. Scientism claims that all our questions have a scientific answer, phrased in terms of particles, quantities, and equations. There is no other point of view than the scientific worldview. There is no corner of the universe, no dimension of reality, no feature of human existence beyond the reach of science. That's what scientism claims. It's a dogmatic, unshakable belief in the omnicompetence of science, and thus makes it a semi-religion. What's wrong with scientism? My first rebuttal would be, how could science ever prove all by itself that it's the only way of finding truth? There is no experiment that could do the trick. It is like a hand that draws a hand, and that hand itself draws a hand. We are getting into a circular reasoning. Science cannot put itself up by its own bootstraps. That is circular reasoning. The statement, no statements are true unless they can be proven scientifically, cannot be proven scientifically. It's not a scientific discovery, but a metaphysical stance. It's a worldview, and nothing more and nothing less. Second rebuttal of scientism. It poses a claim that can only be made from outside the scientific realm, so it oversteps the boundaries of science. It steps outside science and then says there is nothing outside science. That's not a very scientific move. I said already before that that is circular reasoning. And circular reasoning, you start at your conclusion, so you don't feel any need to go anywhere else. You just keep affirming your conclusion. Science cannot validate itself. Science can only be taught as one view among many. There are many other roads to truth and reality. My third rebuttal would be, scientific knowledge is not a superior form of knowledge, maybe easily testable than other kinds, but it's also very restricted kind of knowledge. Consider this analogy. A metal detector is a perfect tool to locate metals, but there is more to this world than metals. That's exactly where scientism goes wrong. Instead of letting reality determine which techniques are appropriate for which parts of realities, scientism lets its own favorite technique dictate what is considered real. We need a reality check. Our conclusion? If you only have a hammer, every problem begins to look like a nail, as Maslow said in 1966. Let's not idolize our scientific hammer. Not everything is a nail. Even if we would agree that the scientific method gives us testable results, more than other sources of knowledge, that would not entitle us to claim that only the scientific method gives us genuine knowledge. As Einstein said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. Let's go back to the question. Does science leave room for religion? Yes. But some will say there is only matter in this universe, so there is no space for religion. It's a centuries-old view, usually called materialism. Materialism holds that all things are composed of matter, including love and religion. Everything is a result of material interaction. It asserts that matter is everywhere, and matter is all there is nothing else. My first rebuttal of materialism would be we are dealing here with a metaphysical stance again. It's not a scientific discovery. Let no one lure you into that conviction. For some enigmatic and ironic reason, materialism has quite a spiritual appeal to it. Isn't that ironic? It sounds so attractive. It is one thing to use a sound methodology or searching for material explanations, that's what science does. But you cannot change that technique into a doctrine that says there are no other explanations than material ones. Here is my second rebuttal of materialism. The very idea that nothing exists except matter is self-refuting. For if it were true, neither it nor any other mental idea or claim would or could exist, because those are immaterial. So it would deny its own existence. Those who deny the existence of anything non-material also deny the existence of their own denial, for denials are immaterial as well. Claims like these just defeat and destroy themselves. It's like this snake that's eating itself. That's what materialism leads to. Third rebuttal. Almost every scientist accepts entities such as scientific laws, statements, hypotheses, theories, truths, and falsehoods. They are all non-material entities. Suddenly we find ourselves in a non-material world where things are not large or small, light or heavy, hard or soft, but they are true or false, and right or wrong. Materialism can't deal with that fact. How could there be truth to what science claims if everything were merely material? Conclusion: laws of nature are immaterial, yet they are very real, and they exist outside our minds. We may know them, but we cannot create them. They are there even before we know them. Before we knew about the law of gravity, there was already a law of gravity. That's the reason why a bridge designed according to the right laws does stand firm, and others collapse. Laws of nature have to be discovered. You cannot invent them in your mind. They are given laws. Does science leave room for religion? I would say yes. Materialism does not have much to stand on. But there are others who say science can explain religion away. They say religion is just a product of the genes. Put it in the trash can. It's just a product of the mind, an illusion. It's just a chemical artifact in our brain. It's just a cultural invention. It's just a man-made entity. In other words, religion is nothing but all of these, and nothing more. My first rebuttal of this nothing buttery is, if religious beliefs are really the rationalization of our deepest wishes, as Freud said, would that not entail that atheistic beliefs could also be the rationalization of our own desires as well? Freud never answered that question. The claim that the brain created God could easily be countered with the reverse claim. It was not the brain that created God, but it was God who created the brain. So that is a different story, two different outlooks on religion. Even if belief in God were wishful thinking, let's assume that for a moment, we could never prove that it's nothing more than wishful thinking. Second rebuttal. Life is more than a bunch of molecules. Love is more than a set of chemical relations. At one point they even localized faith in a certain part of the brain. The life of religious people does depend on material factors, of course, oxygen, genes, neurons, but it's more than all of those together. When we cut a living duck apart to see what makes it tick, the ticking disappears. Cutting apart takes the heart out of the matter. If you cut religion apart, you have no religion left anymore. It's like if you want to understand Shakespeare's work, you would study the English alphabet. I know Shakespeare's work is made of English alphabet, but that doesn't mean we can understand his works if we just study the alphabet. By just studying oxygen, genes and neurons, we cannot understand religion. The third rebuttal of Nothing Buttery: we are not hardwired for a particular religion. There are more than 7,000 identified varieties. And as we all know, born a Catholic does not mean a Catholic forever. Being born again is nothing that is inborn. As this cartoon says, if we are born again, do we get new navels? That is a weird question. Religion is not a material entity. If the feeling of spirituality were really a biological experience rather than a religious experience, then when we study that experience, it only tells us something about biology, but not about religion. What makes some think science can explain everything, including religion? Scientism makes us believe that science can explain everything, including religion. Is there still room left for religion? I would definitely say yes. Science just cannot account for all that needs to be accounted for. There are many more views on life. For instance, a political view on life, in addition to scientific. A moral view on life, economic view on life, and also at least one more: religion. Religion is one of the many views on life, and they all are equally important. Science is blind for so many things. It's blind for politics, it's blind for morality, it's blind for economics, it's blind for religion. It is blind for all of them. So some people are spiritually blind. They don't have that view on life. But without God, the universe remains incomprehensible, inexplicable, and incomplete, no matter what science reveals us about the universe. We will not understand where the laws of nature come from. Why are they there? Why are they the way they are? Life without God is incomplete. Blaise Pascal once said, there was once in man a true happiness, of which all that now remains is the empty print and trace. This infinite abyss can be filled only by God himself. As St. Augustine said, to fall in love with God is the greatest romance. To seek him, the greatest adventure. To find him, the greatest human achievement. Our hearts are restless until they rest in God. As I said already in this book, that you can find at paragonhouse.org or Where Do We Come From, I discuss some of these issues, especially in the last chapter: a universe with a destiny, a universe of good and bad people, of winners and losers. And another book that I want to mention, it tells us that there is no gene for free will, for rationality, for morality, and for religion. You can find it at Amazon.com, wheredowecomefrom.com.